Hello and welcome back, fam. Trust is a dicey subject. Everyone wants to be trusted, but only a few people put in the work to show themselves trustworthy. Today on rLounge, we meet two people that you should never trust with your life. Our first OP learns just who her cousin truly is. Am I the a-hole for calling my cousin untalented in front of our family after she stole my work? So I, female 16, have recently began applying for internships and jobs to spice up my resume. I have a strong passion for graphic design and visual effects. In the past, I have designed YouTube banners for many well-known people, edited their videos, and more. All of my work is watermarked with my name unless it's commissioned. My cousin, female 23, who has been very close to me since I was young, has had a lot of trouble finding a job. She is also pursuing the same field. One day, my cousin asked to see my portfolio with all my projects. Since we were so close, I didn't give it a second thought and sent her everything. My portfolio contains my best work. Keep in mind that it was watermarked with my name and socials in the bottom left corner. A few weeks go by, and my cousin has not found a job. Every once in a while, she comes and visits us and asks my parents questions, since her parents are out of state, about applying for jobs. She showed them her portfolio, resume, etc. When she let me see it, I was shocked. She had put all of my designs into her portfolio. All she did was cover my watermark with an ugly black bar with her name on top of it. She asked, beaming, if I thought it was nice. I didn't want to embarrass her and cause a scene, so I just nodded. The following week, our entire extended family visited for a dinner. My cousin told everyone that she finally landed a job, a rather well-paying one for a graphic designer. She went on and on talking about how the interviewer mentioned that she was very impressed with her work. I wasn't exactly comfortable through all this, knowing she had stolen my work, but I kept my composure. The issue happened when my family started telling me to be more like my cousin and not laze around. I lost it. I started yelling at my family and cousin about how she had stolen my work, and that all she knew how to do was add a black bar and type her name out. I called her untalented enough that she felt the need to steal from a 16-year-old. My family was shocked. My cousin started crying and yelling that she had no idea what I was talking about, so I pulled up the messages she sent me asking for my portfolio. However, my parents didn't believe me and said that if I was telling the truth, why did I wait so long to say something? Even after explaining the entire situation to everyone, I was not trusted, and now my whole family is against me for causing a scene and making my cousin cry when we were supposed to be celebrating. Update: I got my cousin fired. Thank you for the support in my last post. I know many of you requested an update, and I promised one. A lot has happened the last few days, so let me know if I need to clarify anything. After I wrote my first post, I felt ready to talk to my parents again about what happened, and I showed them proof that my portfolio designs were mine. They apologized to me for blaming me and called my cousin and aunt and uncle, telling her that her actions were wrong. That was all they did. I took the advice that I was given in my last post and emailed my, female 16, cousin's, female 23, employer. I provided progress, photos, videos, layer screenshots, history, etc. To sum it up, they apologized that this happened to me and informed me that my cousin would be fired. I was not invited to fill in her spot or anything of the sort, since I'm looking for an internship rather than a full-time job. This morning, my cousin turned up to mine and my parents' house and started yelling profanities at me and crying. Side note, to my knowledge, my identity should have been concealed when the employer told my cousin she was fired, but I'm guessing she just connected the dots. She told my parents what I had done, and they were angry at me. Even though I had proved that the art and designs were mine, they immediately started berating me for going so far as to getting her fired. My parents have never exactly been supportive of my graphic design and editing hobbies, but they love taking advantage of it. I have edited videos from my mom in the past, to which she claims I priced too high. I charge $15 an hour, which is less than minimum wage where I'm from, and put together some things for my dad, who has never really been happy with me picking design for a hobby. He wanted me to do something useful, like coding. A massive argument broke out. My aunt and uncle came to the house as well, and I was just crying. My cousin, parents, aunt, uncle were yelling at me for getting my cousin fired. They all knew that the portfolio wasn't hers, but they didn't believe it was justifiable to have her lose a job she worked so hard for. A part of me thinks that they're defending my cousin because she's older and more mature in their eyes. I'm pretty sensitive to arguments, so I didn't want to be around anymore. I called a friend's mom and she picked me up. I have explained the entire situation to her and my friend, and they are letting me stay over for a bit until my mom and dad decide to pick me up. My friend's mom said she would talk to them and explain why my cousin is the only person in the wrong right now. I just hope this blows over quickly and that I can find an internship somewhere. Edit. Many people have requested an update. I will post it via my own page due to subreddit restrictions. The first comment from the community comes from Ken Grand 1314. I am so very, very sorry. You did nothing wrong at any time in this. Art theft is a real theft. That's your work. Your cousin wasn't going to be able to do that job and was in way over her head. But more than that, in what world is stealing and lying working hard for a job? I don't know how to get it through to your parents or extended family. Your work was good enough to get your cousin a job, meaning it's valuable. So why is it not valuable when you do it? Why is her stealing something valuable from you not wrong? Why are you stealing an opportunity from her when she actually stole your work from you? Maybe it's as simple as, gee, Mom, Dad, you brought me up not to lie or steal and to report people who do. Do you not mean it? Good luck finding an internship. I'm sorry this is happening. Please try to let your art and not this define you. Obviously not the a-hole. Creeves9 chimes in, and next time your parents ask you to do anything graphic design related, tell them, no thanks, since you don't support me in this area, you're not allowed to benefit from or take advantage of my skills. Yikes, OP. First off, I feel like even if you hadn't told her employer, they would have found out that her work doesn't line up with what she had promised in her portfolio. Your cousin would have dug her own grave. At the same time, perhaps telling her employer was a step out of bounds, but so was your cousin stealing your work and claiming it as her own. Secondly, I feel like even though your parents aren't supportive of your art and passion, it doesn't mean you need to stop doing what you're doing. This is a valuable lesson to remain determined, on course, and in your own lane. Trust is a valuable thing, and once lost, it's often lost forever. You don't owe it to anyone to tell them about your goals for the future. Focus on you and knock it out of the park. And also, you can't do things for free. Work is work, and creatives often get overlooked. Don't back down. What are your thoughts? Leave us some comments. But up next, a little white lie uncovered the culprit. Am I the a-hole for deliberately telling my future mother-in-law the wrong name of our baby? I, 23 female, and my fiance, 25 male, are expecting a baby girl next month. We're really excited as this is our first child and we've been trying to prepare for parenthood. A lot of our family have been helping us with the baby stuff and giving us general advice. They're also really super excited for her, especially my future mother-in-law. She's a very stubborn person and hasn't really accepted me as a part of the family yet. She always tells my fiance how he could do so much better than me and that he's fallen into the trap of having my child. It's hurt me a lot, and my fiance has had a talk to her about it, but she still hasn't apologized or anything, so I just tend to ignore it now. She's also one of them mums who posts every little detail of their life to Facebook, like when my fiance proposed, she went straight to Facebook before we could announce it ourselves. Recently, me and my fiance have been coming up with names for our little girl, and we both decided on the perfect name. A few days ago on a phone call, my fiance accidentally slips up by telling my future mother-in-law that we've chosen a name. She's been non-stop messaging us and calling us to find out the name. We don't want to tell her until the baby is born so that it doesn't ruin the surprise and the whole of Facebook finds out before we are comfortable telling everyone. She tried guilt-tripping my fiance by telling him how he's hurting her by not telling his own mother the name of her grandchild, that he doesn't love him, and that we, especially me, are going to try and keep her from seeing the baby. I'm not sure why she would think that, as nothing we have said suggested it. To stop her from getting on my fiance's back, I wrote a message saying that if she wants to know, she can't post it on Facebook. She agreed, and I told her a fake name. 5 minutes later into checking Facebook.
I can't believe I'm going to be a granny to baby Charlotte next month. So proud of fiance's name and his partner.
My fiance was furious and called her and told her that she was wrong to announce it. She said that she was so overjoyed by it that she couldn't resist. He told her how that wasn't even the name and that we aren't going to tell her until she's born, and hung up. It's been a few days and my fiance has been getting texts from her saying that she didn't mean it and that I'm the a-hole for telling her the wrong name. Her words were,
"Who even tells their future mother-in-law the wrong name of their grandchild?"
Am I the a-hole? Our first judgment from Sirius99. Not the a-hole. Who gives the wrong name? Someone who knew she was going to do exactly what she did. Such lovely lilacs chimes in too. Laughing my butt off. Yep, my mother-in-law is a great lady, but telling her anything is like putting it on the cover of the New York Times. She and father-in-law were the last to find out my husband and I were expecting. We had a number of complications early on in the pregnancy and weren't sure it was even viable. The last thing I wanted was news spread about a pregnancy that I lost. So we didn't tell them until way into my second trimester, where things were looking good. My mother-in-law was hurt, but I know my father-in-law knew exactly why we waited. Minnie Mimi Mouse says, not the a-hole. May I suggest Forgetting to tell her about the birth until you've gotten out of the hospital and are ready to announce it yourselves and have visitors? Be somebody to someone says, and if you're an iPhone user, turn off your location. Jazuna has a comment too. Not the a-hole. New rule, your mother-in-law is the last person to know anything. You go into labor? Tell no one. Have your baby in peace. When you do decide to tell people after a baby is born, she is the last. If you don't do this, she's going to announce all over Facebook when you're in labor how many centimeters you're dilated, and then she will announce the name, weight, and time of your child's birth. You are absolutely not the a-hole, OP. It sounds like future mother-in-law thinks the world revolves around her and that people actually give a crap about what goes on in her life. Clearly, she's looking for attention, and you and your fiance are trapped in the middle. What you did is prove to her just how untrustworthy she is. She's been caught with her pants down, and in her mind, she's thinking, how dare someone not play along with my so-called perfect little life? All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players to your future mother-in-law. There wasn't anything wrong in what you did. She needed to be taught a lesson and learn that you both are on to her little games. The most important thing is that you have your fiance's support. You have each other. Your future mother-in-law is only isolating herself, OP. So let her. What do you think? Is OP the a-hole? Thank you for joining us today. Before you go, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you have something you want to say regarding today's content, share that with us in the comments below. See you next time on rLounge.